Now we have a lot more men that have gone trans and they do the housewife thing than we actually have women who really want to do that.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Well, because weirdly, that's a thing. Like, if a trans person like does transition and they want to do it, and that's what they want to do, that's a thing to like really, really support them on and really push them on. But if a biologically born woman wants to do the exact same thing and be a housewife, feminists will eat her to shreds. Not all, not all. Some
Not
some
all, yeah.
feminists now some feminists are like, that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I mean,
Exactly, yeah.
that literally is empowerment. But then you have a lot of the other ones that are like, you're doing that, you're hurting the cause. It's like,
It is weird, yeah.
I
And
just
again,
can't agree with you.
I take us back to Google overcompensation. That's,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
but see, that's where I'm talking about, like a lot of like the social justice warrior type guilt and stuff like that. It's like, wait a minute, you want the activity to be okay, but only if somebody goes through this wildly expensive procedure and has the whole mental health process and all the decision, all that. But you're not okay with the other person doing it. Like, you have to be okay with the activity, not who's doing it. That's like, it's either the activity is right or wrong, or the person is right or you can't change that
hmm
based off of who's doing it.
right.
Like,
But it
I
is
had an
sometimes
example, but
it
yeah.
is sometimes difficult for people to tell, especially if you've come from especially if you've come from a household where you had a couple of parents who hated each other. You know, the only reason mom stuck around is because she was financially dependent on dad, had nowhere else to go, and had to be a housewife. It's very easy to have a difficult time accepting that anyone would choose that, and that the man isn't in some way subjugating that woman. It is a thing,
Hmm.
but for some folks, if they've grown up in the very bad versions of that, it makes seeing the okay or good versions of it very, very difficult to
A
see, because
little jarring.
yeah, because from the outside perspective, they look exactly the same.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of where the difficulty lies. And so I think it's just kind of more of a, again, we're talking about the pendulum swing kind of thing here. Like, I think those same people probably give them another couple years, they'll come around. You just kind of gotta, you know, you just
Yeah,
kind of
and
gotta
see,
let them.
and that, like what we're discussing right now, is
Mhm.
why I'll tell you, I'm an ally, but I'm not jumping through all your hoops.
Okay.
Like that
Yeah.
that's not. And when I say you, I mean the royal you.
Right.
That is the like that's the thing. Like, I do care about you, everything like that, and I'm rooting for you, but the rules change way too often. And that's not like, so when I'm in a situation, I will find out the rules before going into that situation, but I'm not going to live my life off of them
Right.
because
Yeah.
they change too much. And you can't, I mean,
Especially if you're Gen X or Millennial, where we've lived through that rule change a half a dozen times already. We're like
oh, yeah,
we're
being,
we're we're done with investing in the new rule change. Yeah.
yeah, no, we have thought the world did change. We adapted, and then it changed again. Then we adapted, it changed again. We adapted, and realistically, if we would have just sat the fuck back, waited for 5 changes, and then changed with that one, we could have saved ourselves a shit ton of stress.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's not like the entire interim we went from being to allies to enemies. Been allies the entire time.
Yep.
Like, just
And right now,
yeah.
I have decided that the best way for me to be an ally is to just step aside and let you do your thing.
And that's
Yeah.
where I was during the summer of protest. Uh, I did speak up a little bit, but I wasn't like really, really loud. I wasn't really pushing out there because the one thing that I really felt, it wasn't my time to talk.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that wasn't the
The
time
only
for
yeah.
for a white dude. Like, that wasn't our time. Like, things were
Right.
happening to a certain community, not our community.
Yeah. The only
I
time I
mean,
ever spoke up on
yes,
that was
our
like on a
community, but
personal
like it's
level.
kind of weird when you know.
If there was someone who I knew personally and cared about and respected, and I knew that they respected me, if I felt they were heading in the wrong direction, I would try to talk to them, and that was
Yeah,
about as that was as far as I went on that one.
yeah.